We had just a fantastic crowd at Legion Field yesterday. It was a sellout crowd, I understand, but it was the most intense crowd that I can remember either last year or any time this year that we've. Here's their offense starting out with a big play, a 44-yard touchdown run against our defense, which was about one of 3 or 4 big plays that they made on our defense. Otherwise, our defense, I thought, played real well. But you still have to count those big plays in there because most games are decided by 5 or 6 big plays. Here's a handoff to Ricky Moore. Actually, it's the option play to the strong side, which we ran fairly well and did a real good job executing on the option play about 10 or 12 times. Here's another cutback play, cutting back against the grain for a 34-yard touchdown run. This was within 4 minutes of the game. Come out on a little sprint out pass, bootleg thing, and hit Ricky Moore here with a pass for a big first down in this drive. But I thought our defense played real well throughout the ball game, with the exception of 3 or 4 big plays. Here's a good play by their defensive man on Clay Whitehurst. It was a 3rd down situation, I believe. This is a little bit later on a 2nd down situation, throwing the ball out to Greg Richardson. 3rd down play, we miss on a blitz pickup, which we can't do. We got to be a little bit more alert than that. Miss on a blitz pickup, and they get us for a sack. Here they pop a draw play in on us for about a 10 or 12-yard gain. Not a throwing team. Georgia coming into the ball game, we knew that they were a fine football team, but right on the verge of being a great football team. And I think they ran the ball 60 times during the course of the game. Here's a great play by their coverage man on the punt team. Good job by Greg Richardson concentrating and catching the football. But their gang tackling, look at all that hitting. There was a lot of fierce hitting out there yesterday, I'll tell you that. Our guys had an awful lot of fun, put an awful lot into it, and I feel really badly because of that, because anytime you put your whole heart into it and just play your hearts out, it's really a tough when you come up on the short end. We finished the first quarter down 14 points. Start second quarter, their offense has the football, and they run a straight handoff out of the eye, and our defense has really got it fired up right now. Come out off a little play-action pass. We almost get him for a sack. He dumps it out to a back, but we contain him real well. Swarming type defense, and our players are really playing hard right now. Force them to punt. Get a piece of it. I think it was Lewis Dean that got a piece of this punt, and they still got a favorable roll, but we still take the ball over in real good football position on the -29, 28-yard line. Start off with a pass here. Vince Sutton throwing down the sideline and missing Greg Richardson there. And we come back, a little flare pass. This is a 3rd down play, which is a big 3rd down play. 3rd down 7, 3rd down 8. Hit Paul Carruth, and he does a good job of getting it turned upfield and picking up the 1st down. Quick hitting play here to Paul also. Gets jumbled up, but Paul does an excellent job of picking his way through traffic to pick up some extra yards. Here's a quick hitter out to the tight end, Preston Gothard. Preston Gothard has been out with some rib injury for the last 2 weeks. Hadn't practiced, only practiced 1 day this past week, but it sure is nice to see him back in the game and playing, because he's a winning football player. That interception there was just a matter of a combination of a little bit on the throw and their defensive man making a great play, and they turn this turnover into a field goal here. Moving around, good job scrambling there by the quarterback. He can't find receivers downfield simply because we've got them covered well, and our secondary is playing really well. Hurt us a little bit here with the option, make a play. On a 3rd down short play, they pick it up on the 3rd down and 2. Down on the 20-yard line now, come up, trip them up in the backfield for a loss. A real good play by our defense there on a 3rd down situation, and force them to kick out. And they do convert on the field goal and turn that turnover into some points. We get the ball back. We'll pass out to Chester Braggs there. Here's a real good play, almost stumbled up his 3rd down play again to Preston Gothard. Real good job by Vince Sutton there, almost tripped the line of scrimmage and then get back and deliver the football. Another one out to Greg Richardson. That flag there was a penalty, a personal foul on their player. There's just a little chip shot over the middle to Preston Gothard. Pick up about 4 or 5 yards. Here's a 3rd down situation again. You don't quite grasp it, don't quite get the handle on it. have a penalty there, and we come up with a fourth, I think this is a 4th down 3 situation, and we call a quarterback draw in that situation, and it pops through there clean, and Vince Sutton does a good job getting in the end zone. A little excitement going on there. I guarantee you our players were excited throughout the game on the sideline. Here it is again in slow, in a replay on the ground level camera where you can see a little bit different angle about what's going on. And we get on the board, and so momentum, looks like the momentum's turning a little bit, and it's going to have an effect on our defense, on our kicking game. Right here on the kickoff, we go down and cover real well. Joe Godwin, Desmond Holloman, Chester Braggs, Edward Pugh, those guys down there do a real good job of covering that kickoff, and it just picks our defense up and playing real hard, playing real good defense here. But it looks like the momentum has turned, got on the board. We force them to punt, get the ball back. Here we just missed Paul Carruth. Real good play by their man over on the sideline. Dropping back to throw the ball again. Over the middle, good play by their defensive man, a combination of a good play by their defensive man. But we wind up the second quarter, 17, going at halftime, 17-7. We start the second half on offense, starting with the option play, and Vince Sutton does a real good job running it there. Can't quite hold on to the ball there with Paul Carruth, but we pick up some good yardage. We'll draw play up in here for 5 or 6, and then we're going to crease them. I think this is the play here, a toss play, a sweep to the strong side. They've got a blitz on, and we crease the blitz, do a real good job of blocking it up front. Paul stumbles just a little bit there, but else I don't think their player would have caught him from behind. But anyway, we get it down to the 1-yard line. This is where we want, we're knocking on the door. Here it is from ground level. See him stumble there just a little bit. But we've got it down on the 1-yard line. Just exactly what we felt like we had to do to keep the momentum our way. We almost lose the ball there, it looks like. We put Chester Braggs in there after that long run. Here's the option play again. Vince Sutton did a real good job of running the option play. We'll probably utilize him with that a little bit more as time goes along. He did also several things real well in the passing game. He's a little bit ahead of himself where he should be at this time. I don't want to brag on him too much because he's still making some mistakes. You expect any freshman to make some mistakes, but as a freshman quarterback, they're going to be more susceptible a little bit. Here's some gang tackling on kickoff. Felt like our kicking game played real well all day. Made some good plays. Here's a big play for a loss by Cornelius Bennett, who made several big plays on the day. Defense is playing well now. They're getting around the football, and that's what you like to see, a lot of red jerseys around that football. Going to have a little flare pass out to the back. Can't quite hang on to it, but we got a lot of red jerseys around it if he had caught it. But defense is playing real well right now. We played quite a few people in the game and wanted to, and played several young people. In fact, there in the first half, when we scored the touchdown there at the end of the half, our entire second group, offensive line-wise, was in the game at that time. Bill Condon got in the game for the first time as a freshman, offensive guard, and I feel like Bill probably played pretty well. But I'm glad to see him get in, get a little experience, and all he's going to do is get better and better and be a great player in time. They almost lose the handle on it, but they get back on it. Throw the ball here. Paul Tripoli, one of our senior starting strong safeties, is in there as a robber man on this particular defense, makes a big interception. And here's a point in time where we have to have a little bit more of a killer instinct and make things happen from an offensive standpoint when the defense turns the ball over in great field position, but then we turn it right back over to them. But we're still out there, we're out there hitting people. And but that's where we've got to take better advantage of some of the mistakes or some of the turnovers that our defense gives us. Our fullback went the wrong way here on the option play. Just some little bitty things that really amount to big things when it comes to winning. Here's a big third down play that was ruled not a catch by Preston Gothard there, but it's still it's real good to see him. We've got touchdown here if we get the ball on out there. It's just you know, that's a tough deal there when you got a man that got a guy beat and just don't quite get the ball there. They come out on offense running the option play. Their quarterback's doing a good job of making some yards. They're not wanting to put it up a lot, I don't think. This is the third down play. Big play by Ricky Thomas there. to knock the ball away from their receiver. They come a sprint out, and I think they hit a guy here for a big 3rd down 7 play. On the rollout or sprint out pass. Good play here by our defense. Real good play here by our defense, creating a 2-yard loss. So we wind up the 3rd quarter 17-14. As we start the 4th quarter, we're on offense. Hit the trap play up the middle. Ricky Morgan gets 7 to 8 big yards. Need to move it on down the field here in the 4th quarter now. And get the touchdown. Don't quite make it here on a 3rd down conversion. This is a 3rd down 3 or 4 situation where we failed to pick it up. And we failed to pick up 3 or 4 big 3rd down situations during the course of the game. In the 4th quarter, this is we lose the 4th quarter I think it's 7-0 again. And this is where we still, going into the 4th quarter, we still got a chance to win the ball game. Our players are playing hard, and there's no way that I felt like we weren't going to win the game. I don't think any of our players were either. But we just failed to execute on some things, on some 3rd down situations, and to keep those drives alive, and made some silly mistakes like penalties. We made 3 or 4 penalties that stopped drives, which we know that we can't do. We knew that going in. To a man, we knew that going in. But you can't take credit away from a great football team, or pretty close to a great football team. I thought this was a fumble here. I thought our guys were still playing hard, trying to create a turnover for the defensive football team here, playing extremely hard. But you can't take credit away from a fine football team such as Georgia. They've got great personnel at every position, and they've just got a fine football team. Like I told the press after the game, they hit for a touchdown here at the end. They are very close to being a great football team, right on the verge of it. Georgia is. But I think our guys fought right up to the very end. we just came up short. As I mentioned earlier, we played quite a few people. I didn't mention the fact that we had quite a few bright spots in the game and some growth. We're going through a growing process as a football team, needless to say right now, and have been for the last several weeks. But a better football team walked off the field yesterday than walked off last week. And I think that's a big key for us. I think our players walked off the practice field each day last week a better player than he did when he walked out there. And that's, I think that's a big key. Here's the quarterback draw again, up the middle for a big play, big 1st down there. Looking for a receiver downfield. Don't quite get the ball to him quick enough before their safety could get there to make the play. But even here in the 4th quarter, we're still our guys are still fighting hard. They're just going to run the football now. We're just trying to get a turnover. But quite a few of our young people, like I mentioned, Bill Condon earlier, got in there at guard for the 1st time this year. I think he's going to be a fine player. Just needs to get some experience behind him. Get out of bounds, little man. Come on, Greg. In a 2-minute offense here. Moves around, find his receiver. That's good. Get out of bounds, Paul. Stop the clock. Actually, stop the clock with the 1st down. Just line up on the ball now and get it off before this clock starts. But quite frankly, I'm impressed with the way our team played yesterday. I'm not impressed with some of the mental type things, mistakes that we made that wound up a big factor in the ball game or the outcome of the ball game. We wind up 24-14, losing to a really fine Georgia football team.